Okay, Mike wasn't here. Nice to meet you.
Morning, man.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, Team Kilo, you will have 20 minutes to present your solution to the judges. You will be given a warning at 5 and 2 minutes remain. After 20 minutes, the presentation will stop immediately. No information that is considered after the 20 minutes have lapsed. Following your presentation, there will be a 10-minute question and answer. You will be given a warning when 2 minutes remain. The question and answer will stop immediately after 10 minutes. You may begin when you are ready.
Quickly, what's the team name?
Kilo.
What do the warnings look like?
I'm sorry?
The warnings when it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes?
Right here.
Okay.
So I'll be over here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That's okay. It's been one of those mornings. Am I doing this right? Okay. Now you can be ready. Thank you.
Growing up, I was always in awe of my mom because she had this really cool magic card that would just let her buy anything that she wanted. And so one day, I promised myself that I would have one of those cards too. So today we're here to talk about Mastercard. My name is Michelle, and I'm here representing Ready Consulting, along with my colleagues Gil, Mike, and Allison. So you came to us with a concern. So that concern is, what is the ideal framework for Mastercard in order to have automation investment decisions? So in order to find the answer to that question, we're going to take a quick journey. So we're going to start with some internal and external analyses, followed by identifying some key success factors. So it's really going to help us in this market. Then we're going to identify some alternatives for you, followed by our solution and implementation.
Thank you, Michelle. So first we're going to take a look at the external environment here and take a look at a few different factors. So first and foremost, we're going to take a look at the macro environment, the environment surrounding the company and that we don't necessarily have any control over. So there's a number of key categories here, but I'd really like to draw your attention to the social and technological trends that we've noticed here. We've noticed that there's a global trend towards carrying cards instead of cash. Cash is declining and people are more willing to carry cards. And technological, there's been an increasing trend towards digital payment platforms as well as artificial intelligence integrating into new business systems. Next, we're going to take a look at the industry environment surrounding the company. As you can see, we know the buyer power in this environment is low. We know there's a lot of potential different alternatives for people to choose from, and that buyers don't necessarily have the power to pressure these companies into changing their business tactics. Secondly, we see that rivalry in this market is very high. There's a lot of different competitors. As we know, we are second only to Visa, but we lead by a significant number over our next runner-ups there. Finally, we're going to take a look at our micro environment here. As we know, there's a highly specialized workforce that works in this type of environment here. And then our customers, we've identified the potential stakeholders in here as our issuers, acquirers, merchants, and cardholders. So as a key takeaway here, we can see that the factors in the external environment place Mastercard in an optimal position within the industry.
All right, thanks, Mike. So we're going to go ahead and look at our SWOT analysis right now, and that is going to analyze our external factors. So obviously, everything comes with some opportunities and some threats, so I'm going to go ahead and discuss those. The main opportunities that come along with this are the vast increase in the use of credit and debit cards around the world. In addition to that, we have mass automation in order to increase operational efficiency. Now, with all goods comes some bads. So on the threat side, the biggest threat for this is industry competition. Everybody's got credit cards, and there's so many different kinds to get. You can have a Discover, an American Express, a Visa, the list goes on. Okay, and we also have our strengths and weaknesses. So I would like to point out our top 2 strengths, which are that Mastercard is the leading company in global payment space. In addition to that, it's the world's fastest payments processing network. On a weakness, we have noted that there's a little less control over stakeholders.
Thank you, Allison. So for me, we have a financial snapshot. We're going to analyze our current financial situation that we have. So the situation that we have are the revenue, the net income and the profit margin. If you look at the revenue in 2013, it's a little low, 8 million or so. And as it increased, about 2015, that is when Mastercard started investing into companies. So the revenue started to skyrocket after that. After the investments, the revenue increased majorly. Key takeaway I want to take from this is Mastercard demonstrated high performance over the last 5 years and made large investments in the future of the company. So that's where we went into the revenue.
Thank you, Gil. So taking a look at those analyses, what can we really take away from this? So those takeaway points, again, are the factors in the external environment place Mastercard in an optimal position within our industry for growth. The internal strengths and external opportunities call for a continued growth strategy to really exploit those opportunities, enhance those strengths that we already have. And then Mastercard has demonstrated high performance over the last 5 years and made large investments towards the future of our company.
Thank you, Michelle. So for anybody who wants to reach a goal, it's very important to take the steps needed in order to do so. So here we have our key success factors, which are for reaching desirable goals. Our first one is the ability to scale technology products. The second one is reputational benefits, which is huge in this world because when you're picking a credit card, the reputation of the credit card is massive. You hear about a certain card that sounds better than the other one or has higher ratings, higher reviews, word of mouth, that's the one that you're going to go with. So next we have the speed of market, followed by capacity to pursue other value creation activities, and we finish that with employee engagement. Now I'm going to dive into the alternatives. There are 4, and we have selected one that we think is the standout and the best solution, but I'm going to go ahead and analyze the pros and cons of the alternatives. So first we're going to start off with the traditional IT automation. So this is the use of programming paradigms to develop software applications. The pros for that are that it reduces costs through reduced paperwork and eases employee workload. The cons, which we believe outweigh the pros, are that it decreases customer and employee interaction and it limits to structured processes. Next, we have the robotic process automation, or RPA. This is focused on replicating simple, repetitive, and structured interactions. So our main pro on this one is that it allows for focus on higher value work. And our main cons on this one are that it requires constant maintenance, proper design and planning, as well as performs only structured tasks. Next, we're going to go on to the fit-for-purpose automation. Now, this is designed to target specific problem areas. A pro is that it's applicable to individual tasks, but it's outweighed by the con that there's a lower degree of flexibility, high capital expenditure, and privacy concerns. Next, we have the intelligent automation, use of artificial intelligence in partnership with traditional or RPA. So as you can see, we have a lot of pros on this one. It's effective in monitoring fraud detection, it optimizes productivity, it improves the customer's experience, it enhances effectiveness of an automation, and it can reduce costs and risks. A con that we have discovered is that it's a little difficult to recruit and train skilled IA workers.
Thank you, Allison. So now that we've taken a qualitative look at our alternatives, let's take a quantitative look through our weighted decision matrix. So we make a weighted decision matrix because we understand that not all of those key success factors that we identified are as equally important in this industry. So as you can see up here in the far corner, those are going to be our decision criteria. So a couple of numbers I'd like to point out here across the board is we can see that this traditional IT automation is going to hit fairly lower in the ability to scale. And it's also going to hit fairly consistently across the board. The robotic process automation, also not a bad option. It hits fairly consistently in all of those key criteria. The fit for purpose, I'd like to point out that it's fairly low in that ability to scale and as well as the capacity to pursue other projects. So it's not really going to give us room for growth in the future. And finally, this intelligent automation, it hits fairly high across the board, but really in those speed to market and capacity to pursue other project areas, which is going to lead us to our solution. So, intelligent automation, what does that mean? So it means we're going to pursue intelligent automation framework to increase our overall efficiency, security, and customer experience. And it's going to hit all of those key success factors that we identified. We're going to increase Mastercard's ability to scale technology products by leveraging intelligent automation to vastly increase our operational efficiency. We're going to enhance our reputational benefits through continuous improvement towards customer satisfaction. We're going to accelerate our speed to market by identifying those important key pieces of information. we're going to develop our capacity to take on other value creation activities by freeing up those resources. And we're also going to improve our employee engagement by streamlining the information process.
Thank you, Michelle. Now that we've given you the what, we're going to show you the how. So what we're going to do next is we're going to walk you through our implementation plan, going through each of the 5 functional areas and what exactly the responsibilities are within those areas. These include research and development, human resources, operations, marketing, and finance. So first of all, R&D. What is the first step involved? So R&D is going to be responsible for a few key areas here. Mainly, number one, looking into potential value-creating ideas that we can do with our new AI framework. Secondly, we're going to build upon and improve security measures for fraud detection. And finally, we want to leverage the recently acquired Brighterion subsidiary to keep up with the AI trends. As we know, they are a top-of-the-line and industry-leading artificial intelligence research company, and we think that we can really leverage that use within our company to keep up with the latest trends. Going off again here about building upon and improving security measures and fraud detection, we think that that's going to be mutually beneficial for us and our stakeholders, mainly the issuers. If we can somehow use our AI system here to lower the risk and the fraud occurring within these transactions here, we're going to lower both the bank's risk as well as boost our reputation.
Thank you, Mike. So what good is a plan without someone to put it into action? So now we're going to go into actually putting this plan to work. So who is going to make this possible? Well, first we have human resources. They're going to start with recruiting and hiring IT techs. Next, we're going to move on to continual training in the latest trends because, as you know, we live in a world with ever-changing technology. It's changing every day right in front of us. Next, we have implement of evaluation and control procedures. And finally, building employee relationships by holding staff meetings, conferences, incentivized events, that kind of thing. Now on to operations. So what is the first step required? So first we're going to implement the IA system. That means the tech team is going to install the infrastructure across the company. Next we move on to maintaining servers and current transactions to preserve current operations. We will also acquire necessary equipment by gathering appropriate resources to smoothly and effectively transition into our new IA system. We will also be extending global operations to continue efforts to actively pursue unbanked populations in developing countries.
Thank you, Allison. So for the target market, Mastercard wants to know, who do they target to? Who are the biggest people that comes in for sales? So for Mastercard, the issuers, they take measures to increase security in order to reduce overall fraudulent transactions. This will reduce overall bank liability, so the banks don't have to be reliable for the fraud. Acquirers. As business grows, acquirers continue to experience income growth. The merchants, this right here is the biggest point for MasterCard, the merchants. This is how they make their money. Lower fee rate from 1.5% to 1.4% at the merchants. Reach, negotiated dollar amount of transactions. Cardholders, they continue promotions such as fly miles or cashback opportunities, groceries, things of that nature. For the financial plan, where is the money coming from? The money is coming from debit cards, credit cards. We all know that. 17% of the interest rate comes from the credit cards. The transaction fees from merchants. So every transaction that you get, MasterCard gets a percent back. Licensing fees from issuers. Co-branded cards through issuers produces steady streams of revenue. Social responsibility. So we want to go the extra mile. We also want to give back when we go that extra mile. How do we promote our sales saying we're still giving back to the community, even though we're taking away from giving credit lines? We want to donate a percent of our yearly revenues to H2O for Life to help provide clean drinking water and sanitation in the fight against the global water crisis, such as Flint, Michigan, or in Africa where there's not a lot of clean drinking water for them to drink.
Thank you, Gil. Yeah, right now I'm going to so we've showed you the what, now we're going to show you the when here. So we've drawn out a sketch of sort of when exactly these plans are going to take place. We've got broken it down into short-term and long-term. So first, I'm going to show you short-term here, just broken down into the next year. I'd really like to draw your attention to the milestone reviews here. We're going to be with you the whole process. We're not just going to give you a plan and then leave you to implement it there. As we know, with the stars here, we're going to come back and check up with you guys and maybe alternate some different things if things are not working correctly and make sure we're all on the right path. Going on to the long term here, we projected this into the next couple of years here. Again, you can see kind of our functional areas laid out and some different activities that will be taking place over the next few years.
Now for the financial forecast. So we projected over the next 5 years a revenue increase every year, maybe by 2.3 million or so. With that total revenue increase, every year we're giving back on top of that and giving back into the community with the H2O program that we have. The net income, it increases also, but when you get to 2020 or 2021, there's going to be a new technology out there innovating, so we're going to definitely invest into those.
All right, so with every great plan comes a few risks. So what we've done here is we've shown a few risks here and created a few mitigation